Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Life Show, Real-Time Draft Edition. I'm your host, Ian Hartitz. It's a great day to be great. And it's a great day to hopefully pick a pretty damn good fantasy team out of the 8-hole. And joining me as always to try to accomplish this task, the one, the only, Dwain, the Rock McFarland. Dwain, we're back. Draft number 3, 4, they're adding up.
They are adding up. This is this is number this is 4 together for us. Yeah, this is 4. This is 4. So I love these drafts. I think I've said it enough. I love how every one of them turns out different, and that's truly been the case. If people want to go back and watch each episode, none of these drafts have gone the same. But we have kind of figured some things out, Ian. We know how the running backs really get pushed up.
Yeah.
And so that's something we have to consider, even though we may think wide receiver is the best value on the board. We could consider a running back in round 2 just because we don't want to be picking the dead zone backs later. And we know some of the wide receivers fall. Not saying we're doing that. We're not locked in any strategy. You start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 2 flex in a full PPR. So starting off with 4 great wide receivers is also not bad. I mean, you can be in a really good spot. In fact, in 2 of the drafts we've done, I think we've had 5 wide receivers on our squads by round 7. So we've been pretty heavy in the wide receiver streets, but yeah, I love the format, man. It's flexible, lots of different ways we can go, and every draft goes different. I mean, what else could we hope for?
What else can you hope for on a lovely Wednesday evening here in Columbus, Ohio? And by lovely, I mean it is way too hot outside, Dwayne. I am so ready for fall weather right now. Get me a hoodie back on the body. So, hey, do we have a Excel updated here?
Yep. Oh, you need the link.
I'm looking at the 828 tab. It's just empty right now.
Nah, it's got names in it.
I'm scrolled over. I'm just an idiot, Dwayne.
Oh, okay.
That's all
I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure what
are you talking about? Okay, as we
get
going here, nothing too crazy. Again, Dwayne, you were kind of saying before, like when you're at the 108, man, we know what we're doing. There's basically a pretty clear top 8.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're getting something. The players I still got in the queue are Bijan Robinson, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson. We've got McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Breece Hall, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then there goes Bijan Robinson. I'll be honest, I would love for it to be Bijan just because we know what happens at the running backs. I like, now don't get me wrong, and I love Jamar Chase. I'll be happy to take Jamar Chase if they leave that here. And I'll be happy to take Justin Jefferson, man. I don't have enough Justin Jefferson. So I think it is Chase, though. They took Jahmyr Gibbs ahead of us.
Ooh.
I do believe this is Jamar Chase.
Concern about today's developments? Jamar Chase not at practice after he was?
Not really. But, I mean, if you want to take a Justin Jefferson share, I'm down. We took Jamar Chase at this pick last time.
I would like a Justin Jefferson share.
Let's do it. Let's do Justin Jefferson. All right. Boom. Justin Jefferson.
Welcome to the squad, JJ. I actually have moved Justin Jefferson ahead of Chase in the ranks. Because for me, again, they were in the same tier. And it's one of the things where this is a guy motivated. He got paid. Don't have to worry about him coming back too early. Don't have to worry about him sitting out. And I don't know, Dwayne. It's one of those things where you like to say it too. In a tough situation, look, I don't think Jamar Chase is coming back to us. But Justin Jefferson for sure isn't.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we knew Jamar Chase was for sure playing, I'm taking him. Just because I like Joe Burrow a lot more than I do Sam Darnold.
and then there goes Chase right after, but yeah.
Look, and we would have been happy with Chase as well, but it's really close between the two, and so I'm good with what we did.
Getting my lovely New Era Vikings hat out now. Just gotta take these stickers off. I'm not cool enough to keep the stickers on these flat bill hats, so I'm not going to pretend otherwise, Dwayne. But I will say, we got all these New Era hats. Freaking love our sponsors over there at New Era. But the Dolphins blue is just my default favorite because I think it's such a great color. But you know what? They're all pretty.
I'm leaving the stickers on because I just pulled it out.
You got a little more swag than I do, so I'll give it to you.
No, I don't know about that.
You get up there on stage and tear it up, man.
I'm just too lazy to take these off right now in the middle of the show.
There we go.
Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley off the board after Mr. Jamar Chase went.
No surprises there. Still got. Oh no, Amon-Ra's gone. We're just still updating the sheet.
You wish.
I was about to say, man.
I'm sorry.
Nuts. No, you're good.
Yeah, how could I not mark that name off?
Did you see the Greg Rosenthal, Evan Silva, Puka Nacua controversy?
No,
Greg didn't give any information, but he was basically like, yeah, I'm not feeling great based on Puka in round 1, based on what he's been hearing. So I don't know. We also had
what is he hearing? An injury?
it just sounded like he thought he was maybe a little more banged up. But then again, we had Jeff Mueller come back right afterwards, basically say Sean McVay, one of the more upfront coaches with the injuries. And based on everything we've heard, just more of a bruise than anything. He's not concerned about week 1 stuff. So it sounded like maybe Greg was talking a little more like just what we kind of heard out of camp, where, some people do believe it's still just going to be kind of back to Cooper Kupp as the 1A more than anything. So again, it was kind of weird, but obviously Greg, pretty plugged in guy. So I didn't want to completely dismiss it.
Yeah. I mean, look, we don't have to worry about it. He just went.
Yeah, there we go.
So we have 3 shares of Puka. So yes. It would have been hard to pass Puka falling back to here with Justin Jefferson, regardless of any scenario. I've got Marvin Harrison Jr. in our queue right now. I've got Achane in our queue. I think the other name that could be in our queue is also Drake London. I
think Achane's the move if he gets here.
If he's here, yeah, I agree. Just because, we're gonna have a really good shot at Malik Neighbors coming back.
And some of the stuff too, dude. Like Beckham's on the pup, Waddle's still dealing with this injury that none of us really know what it is. A lot of the words, look, I know we say this every summer, the running back's getting more snaps out wide and as a true wide receiver and all that. But the Dolphins case, man, wouldn't be shocked if it does come to fruition a bit more than usual for one Devon Achane with the way they use him. So I'm fine locking it in if you are.
Let's lock it in.
Drew,
am I fine locking in Achane? You bet your ass I am.
Let's go.
That's a little hero start going, and we do have a hero. That's the definition of a hero right there.
And that is a tier break for Dwain. Again, he has CMC, Brees, and Bijan, the top 3, which I think we can all agree with. And after that,
with a hard tier break, a really bold line.
We have the exact same top 7, at least at running back. We do start differing in our 3rd tier, but tier 2, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, and Devon Achane. So a couple of these other guys, I do think Henry to an extent, Kyron and Pacheco as well qualified, but a few more questions there, Dwain, especially for Pacheco, who gets to deal with Samaje Perine now. Thank God for our Chase Brown bags. We would not have to deal with, the sturdy 3rd down running back going back to Cincinnati. But how overly concerned are you about that in Kansas City? Do you consider it equivalent to if Jerick McKinnon had just come back, or is it more of a non-issue for you? Because again, the guy couldn't make the Broncos roster for a reason, and he couldn't even find enough value to get traded for a late round pick.
Yeah, I think he might take some of the long down and distance work. We don't know for sure, but that just doesn't worry me that much, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, it's like those are the least valuable snaps. We want running backs out there as often as we can, but on 3rd down and long, we're talking 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. What's the defense doing? They're going to man up, try to jam the receivers, and blitz the quarterback. And so what's the running back doing in that scenario? They're staying in the block. So it's just it's not a super valuable snap for a running back. Maybe he steals the 2-minute offense. Like that would be bad if he stole the 2-minute offense as well. And Perine, he's a good receiver out of the backfield. He's not great. He's not like a second level guy. You're not going to build route concepts and high lows off of Samaje Perine, but like he's a capable receiver out of the. I would say he's as capable as Pacheco out of the backfield as a receiver. So you just kind of got to wait and see, what Andy Reid does, with the situation. But overall, I'm not worried too much about Pacheco. I'm kind of staying right where I've got him. I don't really like taking him this early, but like the way these drafts go, I understand why people go ahead and grab him as their hero RB.
Again, we want our running back to get 100% of snaps if possible, but that's not realistic. And I just looked at Jerick McKinnon's game log. He had more than 3 targets in just 1 game last year. So not like he's exactly going out there and, just completely going crazy. If anything, the Perine, addition just makes me even more like staying away from any of those potential handcuffs. CEH making the team. Carson Steele, a.k.a. Kareem Hunt on the squad, obviously had a fantastic preseason, highlighted him in a column I had go up at FantasyLife.com, just putting up stupid. He had like 7.5 yards after contact in the preseason. Small sample. That's why you get those, sort of glitchy numbers out there and everything. But really, really, really impressive preseason for Steele out there. But again, now if something happens to, Pacheco, it does seem more likely to see 3 running backs involved, not even just 2. So going to make that a tough situation to really have our eyes on until it actually winds up happening. So through 2 rounds, I appreciate this room, not exactly winding the clock down the last 5 seconds. But as we've seen, Dwain, a lot of running backs continuing to fly off the board inside the top 24 picks. Opened up the second round with Derrick Henry. 2 picks later, Jonathan Taylor, Pacheco, Achane, Etienne in a row. After a couple wide receivers off the board, we had Kyron and Josh Jacobs finish up the round. So bit of a tear gap there. Now we do still have James Cook and Kenneth Walker chilling. Rashad White goes off the board as I say that. I will say, Dwain, we've kind of been doing this hero RB, which I do like, but James Cook and Kenneth Walker, 2 guys where we do respect the potential upside there. If we were to double dip, those would be the 2 guys I'd be okay with. Once we get more down to Mixon, the Connor, the Mostert, I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah, I would be willing, but man, like if they leave us Nico, Neighbors, Debo, Cooper Kupp just went, so he just gets marked off. I can't. Those three. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I wouldn't want to do it for Waddle either, to be honest.
Yeah.
Once you get to the next tier,
we already got Achane. I will say I don't love going. It is a Dolphins offense. I shouldn't say.
Yeah, who cares? It's the Dolphins offense. That's right. And I got the Dolphins hat sitting there waiting to get on my head. So.
We already picked Achane. If you want to make the move, you're allowed. Malik Neighbors off the board, rocking number 1. If you had any hesitations now about Malik Neighbors, they unretired the freaking number 1 for the guy at this point. So I don't know what else we need to see out of the New York Football Giants organization to get behind that. So there goes James Cook. We are now guaranteed to get one of Nico, Debo, and it sounds like Jalen Waddle. So Kenneth Walker, I do think we have a slight chance of maybe falling back to us. Certainly not going to have a chance with Nico or Waddle as Debo Samuel does fly off the board there. So
I really want this to be Nico.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
But I'll take Waddle.
I got my.
I'm not that worried about Waddle. Like everything I've read is like Mike McFarland goes Nico. He's just said, look, I want the guy healthy week 1.
All right, let's load up on the one of the best offenses in the NFL. Jalen Waddle, come on down.
Yep, he's on the team.
Jettas, Achane, and Waddle, top 3 picks, Dwayne. Not too shabby up a start. Again, would have been cool with Nico, but whatever. We got him in the same
Now
tier.
I think Kenneth Walker gets in the queue.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rashee Rice is at the top of our queue. Devonta Smith, I think, can get in the queue. Or did Devonta go? No, he didn't.
He's still there. I'm trying to see where we because Rashee fell a little bit further than we thought last time. I don't know that we need to bank on that necessarily happening because
I'm not in this room. We've already seen it. The dude went London Neighbors up there. He won't let Rashee Rice buy, guaranteed. Guy's got Breece Hall, Drake London, Malik Neighbors. He's sitting there right now licking his damn chops waiting on Rashee Rice. You're not getting him. We may not get him, but you're not getting him.
I'm looking at the last draft right now. Yeah, last draft he was in. He went 5th pick into round 5, it looks like. So certainly not a situation where we could
round 4, all the other drafts, though. So
yeah. Well, I'm just like, there's no chance that he would come back to us in round 5. I mean, that was crazy to see him fall as far as he did. And
that dude had CeeDee Lamb on his team.
Right.
At pick 5. And
that would be
and he got Rashee Rice in round 5. Yeah.
I got a question on Twitter the other day about, it was like, how late would you kind of wait for Rashee Rice potentially? And the guy was asking like 5th or 6th round. And I think I said, we've taken him around 4, obviously. Round 5 is about the latest that I would be willing to try to go. But again, you guys know your drafts, your draft mates, the formats, but better than us potentially. Hey, if it's on RealTime Sports, maybe we know a little more about what's going on in these streets. But it is a situation where, would you say, Dwayne, round 5 at the latest, and round 4, nothing wrong with that.
And you're reading your tiers and your team structure. If you're like we are, you can show the tier sheet real quick, Ian, and folks can pull up a tier sheet just like this over at FantasyLife whenever you go to our rankings hub, and you can click on cheat sheet and you can use it by consensus. You can have it changed to one of us. And anyway, you're going to see all the tiers that you have, and it's going to be like this. I just do this one because I can mark it off with gray and green and, just do all the color coding stuff. But if you get to a spot where we are now, notice this range of the tier, and I need a receiver, I'm not waiting. It could be round 3, it could be round 4, it doesn't matter. Now Rashee Rice is in play. So as these players go, it's telling you, how you want to handle it. Now, if you think you can look at the queue and you can squeeze one more round out of it, go ahead. But if I think Rashee Rice is critical to my build and me being successful with the team that I'm building, I'm just taking him in.
Rashee Rice, Devonta Smith, Brandon Ayuk, and Stephon Diggs still on the board. Where's the panic meter? I'm Brandon Ayuk, Dwayne. John Lynch said today that he expected Ayuk to practice, and lo and behold, Ayuk did not go out there and practice. So again, no words on this trade that keeps on stalling. We're not sure. I still think at this point it would have happened already, but man, not ideal.
Yeah, I think, look, The challenge for Ayuk, though, is he has nothing. He has zero leverage. Is he really going to miss game checks? Is he really going to push it that far? Like, I don't see it. It's expensive, man.
Is he going to pull a Jonathan Taylor? Oh, my back. My back.
Yeah, maybe. I was wondering about that. Like that. Yeah, that could happen. He's going to have to practice to be able to pull that card.
That was a wild move. And then you get the old Kevin Nash, WWE guy in the wheelchair, all of a sudden throws the blanket off and stands up, and it was fake the whole time. So maybe JT's back did hurt last year. I don't know, but it was awfully convenient how much better he felt as soon as he got the contract out there. So one pick away, Dwain, the guy with Chase, Pacheco, Laporta.
So I do think it's Rashee Rice here, but if he goes and you want Kenneth Walker just went. I was going to say, if he goes and you want Kenneth Walker, this is the time to do it.
I probably would have wanted Walker over Ayuk, but I guess we'll never know, Dwain.
All right, let's so Rashee Rice, come on down.
Woo!
And honestly, like, I'm just going to say this, kind of back to the Rashee Rice question. In my mind, Rashee Rice belongs right after Malik Neighbors. The only reason I have him at 24, and we're way ahead of consensus, where we've got Rashee Rice ranked as high, if not higher, than any site now.
That's 24, so we can get him. Like
24, so we can get him. That's right. And acknowledging that there's still some risk of a suspension. Like Drew Davenport, who's our expert that we lean into, you guys check him out over on Twitter. We trust him that, like, look, we're pretty sure he's not going to be suspended.
Yeah.
But Drew says, look, it's not a slam dunk. Like, it's not guaranteed. It's not for sure that he's not going to be suspended. He's saying he would draft him, higher than what most people are doing, on Yahoo and things like that. I don't want to put words in Drew's mouth. You guys can check out his thread. He's got great stuff out there on Twitter. But if we knew, Ian, for sure, hey, we found out no way Rashee Rice is getting suspended this year, I would move him all the way up to where Maliko Neighbors and Nico Collins are. I mean, we're talking about a guy that once he got on the field and he had the full-time role of scoring over 17 fantasy points per game last season. And I hear you folks. Well, he's got Marquise Brown. We've got, Xavier Worthy. You've still got Travis Kelce. I don't care. You know why? Because Patrick Mahomes is about to go freaking ape shit.
5K, 50 tuds.
Yes. He's about to go nuts, and it's not really going to matter. We've got a pass-first offense. We've got the best quarterback in the NFL, and now he's surrounded by weapons. And guess what? He just had to battle through not having any weapons last year. I feel a Brady kind of year where when he got Moss, and I know they didn't get the equivalent of Randy Moss, so like break tap for me. But when you look at all the weapons that they did add, once they get Marquise Brown back on the field too, man, I think he's going absolutely nuclear.
No, but it wasn't just Moss. It was Welker, and it was also even Dante Stallworth.
Running drags on my Madden team.
I was just about to say, you read my mind. That 97 speed, before they added all the extra stats, it used to be a lot more simple in Madden, and Stallworth just freaking crushed it, bro. I used to love those. I think it was like 03 or 04, those Saints teams, because you had a dual threat in Aaron Brooks, Deuce McAllister, Dog, and we had Joe Horn. I think Pathan was a good slot, and then you had Stallworth, who, again, mediocre real life player for the most part, but that speed, man, certainly kills in Madden. So Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts off the board. I don't think we're gonna get Mahomes back to us, Dwayne. But if we do, man, I would.
Oh, dude, I would smash it in a heartbeat. Yeah. I can already tell you this is a sharper room than what we've been in. Yeah, Mark Andrews has been falling back in round 5. I have a feeling we're dealing with more people that draft like they do on Underdog over here. Like Joe Mixon made it to round 4. We've seen him go in round 2 and in round 3. Rachaad White did go in round 3. So, I mean, still a few running backs going earlier, but this is not a crazy running back early draft. As soon as I say that, there goes Ramondre in round 4. I have no interest.
There's been a couple peculiar moves around the turn. Everyone still is drafting Rachaad White. So
there goes McBride. We got McBride. Man, nice. This last draft, we got Neighbors at the turn with Waddle, who we took in the 3rd round. And at the next turn, we got McBride.
That was fun. That was a fun time.
That was fun. I still like this team.
Yeah.
I still like this team.
How can you not? Justin Jefferson, Devin Achane, Jalen Waddle, Rashee Rice through the first 4 rounds. So again, over here, we are starting 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. quarterback. Only major difference in scoring is quarterbacks get 0.05 instead of 0.04 per passing yard out there. So no tight end premium, 4-point passing touchdowns, pretty much the usual otherwise. So nothing overly crazy going on. But yeah, so far so good on the squad. A couple other running backs. I wouldn't mind, dipping our toes back into, as fun as Hero RB is, and we don't have to go that route. Depending on the wide receivers we have, we could come away with one at the kind of by the time we're done in round 6 at least.
Yeah. I've got James Conner in the queue.
Nice. That's what I was trying to say.
That's it. I knew what you were saying.
That's literally the only one I would
still sitting here at this point, though, and Mahomes and Diggs. I think those 3 picks are all ahead of James Conner. And you might argue Zay Flowers, and we also have T. Higgins. Again, T. Higgins falls too far in these things. If we get Mahomes, we're turning around and coming back with Xavier Worthy, and we're just gonna log off. I
drafted a good amount of T. Higgins in best ball. Like, certainly wasn't ever shying away from him. I'm happy to click his name really whenever he was kind of, at that point of the draft. But Dwain, I feel like in almost every redraft I'm in, I'm coming away with the guy.
Yeah, and look,
it's not even about the chase thing either,
Yeah, and you like him more than I do. But I just can't get my mind around him not being worth a round 5 or 6 pick over here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be taking, last year I was telling people to fade T. Higgins in round 2 or round 3 based on his profile. And I said, he's probably a wide receiver 3. He should be going in round 4 or 5 of drafts. Well, now he's going in rounds 5 and 6, which is just an overreaction. We're still part of a really good offense here. There goes Diggs, man.
One more.
People could be so wrong on Stephon Diggs, though, dude.
Come on. I want it so bad, Dwain.
I want it too.
Come on.
We want the same.
This would be hot. We've been dabbling in the late round waters. It's been fine.
Oh, he went right in front of us.
No, fuck me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
It's all right. You can't get that excited about it. It's okay. You want to take James Conner here? And then because one of these wide receivers is coming back, unless you want Pitts right here.
No,
you want to make sure we get tight end.
I'd be fine to almost dabble.
I will say
later. But yeah, go ahead.
I feel better about making up running back than this tier of tight ends. Like, Pitts is the last one that could just set you completely.
We got 2 tight ends between us though on the turn.
He's going at the turn.
What about Kittle? I'd be fine getting Kittle.
I'd rather have Pitts, but Pitts is going where oh man, he's going Pitts, guaranteed.
You think we have a better chance of getting Connor to fall back, or is it just pick between Pitts and Connor?
I think we do. Yes, because Connor.
If you're feeling some type of way about, hey, I feel like we each get one. I want to freaking do it pick. So if you really want Pitts, let's go Pitts. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I think Pitts is gone for sure. Looking at the queue, okay. I think there's a chance James Conner comes back.
That's fine. I think I waited last time until round 18 to pull my I want to freaking do it card, and you were just like, all right, yeah, whatever.
Well, it's good to have those actually.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to manage these sort of things.
Sure.
Because there are going to be times where, as much as you and I talk and we're pretty much mind meld, sometimes you got to allow someone just to take the wheel. So I had a conversation with Ben Gretsch about this because, he drafts so many teams with other people.
Sharp. Yeah.
Yeah. And he mentioned that what they'll do, sometimes is let someone have that call for the draft. Wow. Deontay Johnson. I was really thinking that was, wow, that's really freaking early over here.
But not necessarily wrong, but
not wrong. I like him. I don't like him doing that.
Right. But I don't know. If I feel like if we were in that position, we would have just tried to get him coming back around round 6. But
for sure. Yeah. There's just too many. There's too many other wide receivers in that tier right there. That honestly we have ahead of Deontay as much as we like him.
Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk. That'd be the one where I would put Deontay. I think you could argue Dwain right there behind Terry McLaurin at the top.
Yeah, I think you could argue that.
Only thing with Christian Kirk, I don't think he's getting those red zone targets again. That's what made his first year in Jacksonville so nice, man. I mean, that was one of my big, I like to think I came away with several cool things in all my team preview articles, but that was definitely, one of the bigger ones that stuck out to me trying to figure it out. And Here it is right now. I mean, 2022 caught 7 touchdowns on 22 targets inside the 20-yard line. Last year, didn't have a single touchdown on just 5 red zone targets because we had Calvin Ridley have freaking 26 red zone targets, the 3rd highest mark in the NFL. And on the one hand, you could argue, okay, well, no more Calvin Ridley. Why wouldn't they go back to Christian Kirk? Well, you used the 17th overall pick on Brian Thomas Jr. You add Gabe Davis, who we know who Gabe Davis is, but the bigger body, taller wide receiver that you do expect to maybe get those opportunities.
Dude. There went James.
That's okay. We have a running back.
He took the clock all the way down. He was probably going Pitts and Connor. Yeah. He probably had them both in his queue.
It's fine. If we had not taken Achane and we need a running back, that'd be one thing.
Yeah. I agree.
Connor just would have been nice to have. That's all.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
And I don't even want one of these other running backs right now. We can get.
Yeah, I don't think we can do Mostert because we have Achane. David Montgomery is fine, but I'm with you. I'm not like. I will say David Montgomery goes pretty late over here for how much these people love running backs. Is he not gone? Did I miss something?
Montgomery is on the board. If we get screwed and they take Flowers, Higgins, and Worthy here, I wouldn't.
Then we could.
I wouldn't hate Montgomery. I wouldn't mind getting a little Zay Flowers share, man. He goes way too high in best ball, but dude, that's a player too where you just watch him and that dude, that speed just puts the fear of God into some of those corners. And I know it's Lamar. We have
there goes Evan Ingram. This is what we need. Now we need this guy to go Kittle.
I'm surprised Ingram over Kittle. I guess there's a chance Ingram has 30 more targets than Kittle, but man. Where's Kittle?
Yeah, Ingram's going ahead of Kittle also over on FFPC.
If Ayuk doesn't play week 1, Dwayne, where are you ranking Kittle? Freaking tight end 3? Tight end 2?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I just don't think there's any way Ayuk doesn't play week 1, man. Those game checks are a big ass pop.
Yeah. That's a tough one to reconcile with the mayor if you start missing those game checks. So.
Yeah, the wife's going to be on your ass.
Right.
It's going to happen. You know what? Just get out there. Because at some point, even if you get hurt, you're still so young if you're Brandon Ayuk. It's not killing. There goes Higgins. It's not killing your next contract.
No.
Hey, if this dude takes Zay Flowers, Patrick Mahomes guy, guess what? Guess who you're not getting?
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy right in your freaking face, bro. We're going to just jam it.
Reach on Hollywood. Do it because you're not getting Worthy. Enjoy your
We're getting Zay
Mahomes.
Flowers or Worthy here. I'm with you. I kind of hope it's Zay Flowers. But if you told me that you straight up just thought Worthy was going to outscore Flowers and it wasn't going to be close, I also wouldn't. I don't even think I would blink.
Nah, I go Zay Flowers. I do think he deserves. We've seen Flowers do it at the.
Well, we got to take Flowers because Worthy is the one that could come back. The guy in front of us may have no clue what he's doing. I mean, he has 3 running backs.
It's easy to
Collins and Mahomes.
Yeah, it's easy to make your team look sick the first 5 rounds. That's why I give. I love you, best ball Twitter, but I like giving them a hard time. All these freaking screenshots about your first 4 or 5 picks. GM. Yeah, bro, come on. You're picking top 4 of the top 48 players. How bad can? I hope you don't have a bad screenshot to show. You know what I'm saying? So. Oh, man, this dude keeps winding down the clock, just making me sweat over here. And then, Dwayne, I think you're seeing the picks a little bit faster than I am, so no
you're
spoilers.
On a delay.
Yeah, no spoilers. All right, there we go. Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers, come on down, baby.
I don't hate the Calvin Ridley pick. That is someone that, I've been.
Yeah, I need to be more open to Calvin Ridley. I need to be more open to. It's a Will Levis thing, to be honest.
That's fair.
That's all it is for me. But Ridley could very quickly be the only game in town there. I mean, Hopkins is just up there in age. He's battled injuries for the last 3 to 4 years. He's hurt right now. They say he's going to be good for week 1, but like you said, we don't ever know for sure because they're not really coaches are not obligated to give us much on the injury front in the preseason. So next week, we're going to start getting real injury reports. Well, I say real, those are even fake, but a little more real. This, it's a little bit more regulated where the NFL wants the coaches to be honest and forthright about a lot of that stuff because, NFL is so funny for so long. They're on them about all this. And the coaches are like, what, for gambling? I thought we didn't associate with gambling.
We can at least read the tea leaves a little bit. And I feel bad for anyone that's really
practice reports are huge for us.
Yeah.
When we hear somebody say they're questionable and they didn't practice all week, we're like, nope.
Out. Meanwhile, if they're full all week, we're like, okay, they're probably going to be good over here. So don't quite understand still removing the probable tag, but it is what it is. College is the wild, wild west because they don't have to report any of that stuff. So you'll just find out 10 minutes before the game that, a starting running back is out of the picture.
This dude just timed out with Xavier Worthy.
He might have had him, queued up. Who knows?
He's a frisky ferret.
A frisky ferret. That should be one of our team names. That's his team name.
That's his. Yeah, that's his team name. Hartitz.
I was like, damn, Dwain, that was pretty creative. Good job.
I'm not that creative. Typically by now, a lot of these running backs that are still sitting here are off the board, which isn't necessarily bad for us because we have 4 wide receivers. And a lot of these drafts, when it's gotten back to us in round 7, we've been just taking another wide receiver because it's like, okay, guess you're going to leave Rome Odunze here for us again. And it's like, we take him. But I think in this draft, there's a real chance that we are going to have a running back that's of a higher tier than what we've been used to in these other drafts.
Only 3 have gone off the board in the last round and a half. So it looked like it was kind of business as usual through the first 2 rounds. But in round 3, only 2 off the board. In round 4, we had 4. And last round, again, just round 3 with 0 through, 8 picks. So I'm sure now that Dwain and I spelled that out, we'll have 10 go in a row. But you know what, Dwain, if that happens, guess what? Then we'll get some wide receiver value falling back to us. So in a good position, we got our core 4 wide receivers. Not that we couldn't use another one. Some way, somehow, Dwain, we're probably going to have a Rome Odunze on this team. Just saying, seems to happen every time we draft together.
I don't mind having my bags loaded up with Rome, with where we're getting him in these. Right. We're getting him in round 7 and 8 of these drafts, so it's kind of hard to be like, oh, I don't want Rome.
If he's back to us in round 8, I'll click it if you don't. So. And I think you will, so no freaking problems over there. Chris Godwin goes off after Keenan Allen. Are you buying the revival out of the slot, man? Is it really that easy? Because I know we like to point to Larry Fitzgerald, but Fitz is also the 3rd best wide receiver of all time, arguably. So I'm not so sure that we can just keep on using that with these other players. So
I do think it helps you get more targets because you're playing against it's a lot of zone coverage that they're playing in the NFL, and when you're getting that, you're getting the matchups against the linebackers and the safeties, and like you say, it all there are points and all sorts of different zone coverages where you're actually facing man, and so in those instances where it's like, hey, you got to man them up to get them through your zone, you've just got a matchup advantage if you're a wide receiver versus a linebacker or a safety. So I do think it helps, and the quarterbacks just seem to really want to look inside the hashes if they've got a guy that they can depend on. I don't think just because you line up in the slot doesn't mean you're guaranteed anything. You still just have to be a good player.
The Cooper Kupp rule, Dwain, just Ray McLeod.
Anybody can do it.
Off this year. All you gotta do is line up inside, and it's gonna work out for you. Najee Harris, Jalen Warren off the board in a couple of picks. Dude, I'll tell you what. After kind of seeing what we did with CPAT, I have not been making a habit of clicking on either guy. I think it's gonna be annoying, bro. All of a sudden, we don't have if Najee goes down, Jalen's gonna go off. If Jalen goes down, Najee's gonna go off. I think Arthur is gonna keep CPAT involved. No, he's not gonna take over the backfield, but. Dude, what percent snaps do you think Najee plays if Warren is out week 1? 60?
I think so, which is probably enough for how much they're going to run, but I'm with you. I get a little bit icky feeling about it. Jalen Warren, I worry about less because if he were to get 50 to 60%, it's going to be more than enough.
Yeah.
It's going to be more than enough because he's so good, assuming that the hamstring's ready to rock. But with Najee, I really think you need all the volume. You really need to be loaded up. And so I think he's more risky than Jalen. Also, CPAT's old and he gets hurt a lot. So I don't know how much he can really hold up to. So it might be a deal where for the first 2 weeks, I'm sorry, you're probably fuming right now. I just said something negative about CPAT and I apologize.
Look at him. He's old. He's too old.
Look, he's too old. There goes Jordan Love. DeAndre Hopkins, Najee Harris, all off the board. You already mentioned that. Obviously, Jalen Warren as well. So
change up from us, Dwayne. We have not drafted the rookie yet. It's like we remember this isn't the dynasty draft this time around. It's okay. We've been drafting some baller rookies. I have no regrets over it, but it is funny how that's worked out for a couple of our drafts. So
I'll be honest. I want one of these wide receivers to fall to us. I'm back to the spot in the tier with the backs where I'm like,
if we didn't have Achane, I feel better about maybe going.
Oh, I would smash Mostert.
Right.
So here's the thing. If there is a team,
yeah,
where you can take them both, It's the Dolphins.
I know.
And look, it's not like you got to start them both every week. We're going to go take other guys. But man, it really locks down like if something happens to either one of them. Because I mean, look, if Achane goes down in week 1, we're ranking Raheem Mostert in the top 5 running backs the next week.
Yeah.
And Mostert's falling here. He shouldn't be falling this far. I'm not saying we have to take him. I'm willing to take Rome over him. I would be willing to take Brian Thomas Jr. over him. The wide receivers have gone sooner.
Yeah.
In this draft. And the quarterbacks are all going now. Lamar Jackson, though, in round 7, man.
I know if he would have gotten Jordan back Love. To us, that would have been the click if he somehow made it back to us. Starting to be a bit of a quarterback run. Love Jackson and CJ Stroud off in the early parts of round 7. So,
all right, so Watson just went. We're Romo Dunzeing it up, or do you want Brian Thomas this time?
Welcome back to the squad, Rome. Romo Dunze, right? I mean, I'm not doubting Brian
I
Thomas.
love Rome.
Right.
I love Rome.
It's not like Brian Thomas has like a more clear path to targets necessarily.
All right, you ready to lock it up?
Rome Dunze for the freaking 4th. I think we draft him.
He's on every team.
I love it.
Hey, the nice part is, you saw my tweet today. I said I just keep, manifesting this in my mind. I just hear Joe Buck's voice saying, and Roma Dunze has been unstoppable here in week 17. Like, that's going to be really good for my bags. Assuming I get some of those best ball teams through. Roma Dunze is going to go nuts, and I'll have no teams advancing. So it won't matter.
Just taking down the consolation bracket. Everyone's got to love when that happens in Fantasyland. So, man, Mostert gets back to us. I almost don't want him to.
I know. I know. I was glad Odunze was there. It made it easy, and honestly, I would have just taken Brian Thomas as well.
Do you still rank Devin Singletary ahead of the Bengals backs, knowing that we're in the clear? Because I will say, as dominant as
it's a tier, man. It's a tier.
Yeah.
I like the upside of the Bengals backs more. I've had Singletary behind those guys for the most part, but it is just one of those things. Like, I do shows with you all the time, and you're like, dude, who else is getting the touches? And I'm like, he's right. Who else is getting the touches? I like Tyrone Tracy. I think he's a great later round pick.
And we've been hearing since freaking like May that Tracy was already getting some first team run. And as great as the Singletary usage was in that, second preseason game, 33 of 37 snaps with Daniel Jones, I think it was. I mean, there was no Tracy on the field. And again, like, got back fine. Tyrone Paul Pierce Tracy out here. The guy is made of freaking rubber, and he's going to go out there. And if he is going to steal touches, it's probably going to be some of the, more fantasy friendly pass down touches. So don't exactly think we're going to have a ton of extra touchdowns to be going around in New York. So certainly wouldn't hate, again, getting access, a little more access. Actually, it'll be our first access to the Bengals offense, since we do not have a T. Higgins on this squad for once. So through 6 rounds, everyone, we got Justin Jefferson, Devin Achane, Jalen Waddle, Rashee Rice, Kyle Pitts, Zay Flowers, and Roma Dunze. Dog. If I do say it. So actually,
are we really? People are really serious about just Anthony Richardson's dead to them.
I guess so. I mean, that's another option.
Dude, I got him in a BB. I got him in 2 BBMs today in round 7, or sorry, round 8.
And BBM too. That's
yes. Crazy. It wasn't 2 times. 1 time. And then the other time I think it was round 7. But it's just like, wow, this guy was a round 5 pick.
He went early parts of round 7 in the last draft. We were in Dak Prescott off the board. Dwayne, I wouldn't mind going with some Anthony Richardson.
That's why I went ahead and put the QBs in the tier.
Or Kyler.
If you look to our left, 5 teams out of 7 have a quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to what's here.
Kyler's probably going at the turn to the Trey McBride team, you would think. I can't assume it, but
there goes JSN.
I don't know if there's a player here, like, other than the quarterback, though, that I'm just dying to get. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to get a running back. I will say that.
Yeah, the only other one that's sitting here,
most
where we would definitely just be saying that our strength is our strength and we're done drafting the position, period, is Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, I'm good, honestly. Good on that.
You're good taking him or passing him?
Passing him. I just feel like we could use because there is a chance.
If Anthony Richardson's here, I think you just freaking take him.
Yeah, I don't hate that call at all. Like, if we're going to pass on our RB2, we should do it for a quarterback that has, top 3 to top 1 potential, and that is Anthony Richardson.
Is there something else with Richardson that's happening that we're not paying attention to?
And the hilarious part was, man, it's not like he just went out there and played 15 straight minutes of shit football. He literally walked right down the field the first drive, and then we're basically pitting 2 bad drives on him.
Yeah, against a team that he had just been practicing against, that all week, that knows all of his tendencies.
Watch the Rams game. He looked horrible for the first half, and then he comes back in garbage time and ranks up freaking 29 fantasy points.
So here's the thing. If it gets to us here and nobody takes a running back, and it did, nobody takes a quarterback.
You want to risk it?
Two teams need 2 teams.
Yeah.
And we've got 4 guys in our tier: Richardson, Burrow, Kyler, and Jaden. But to your point, I know that the flat tier thing is doing it to us, but would it be Chase Brown? Is that the guy that carries the biggest stick here?
I think that's the guy.
So I think that's our question. Do we want Chase Brown here, or do you want to just take Anthony Richardson and be like, you people are idiots for letting him fall this far?
Maybe.
Because I'm good with either, to be honest. Because we're just going to pound running back after this. If we get our quarterback here, we're done. We're just pounding runners.
Do you think we'll be able to get one of Tajay, Robinson, Moss, Brown, or Singletary, or do you think our number 2 running back is going to be like a freaking handcuff?
I can't tell you for sure. It could get. They're going to look down there, a lot of yellow. They're going to pound.
I kind of want to push it. Let's go with Chase Brown. You cool with that?
I'm good with it.
Let's go with Chase Brown.
Look, this is the reason we built out the tiers with Jaden Daniels in it.
Yeah. So again, not trying to necessarily come away with JD as our quarterback in every single team, but what is the difference, arguably, between Daniels and Anthony Richardson? You can honestly argue that Daniels might have a, as a passer, he certainly profiles a little bit better.
He does, but we know he can't score 12 rushing touchdowns. That's the difference. Yeah. That's the difference, man.
But he might, he's more like Kyler in that he could throw for 4K and then have the 500-600 rushing yards with 4 or 5 touchdowns on the ground.
Well, shit, there goes Kyler right away. Okay. I didn't want that to happen that soon, because I don't want one of these other doofuses to be tempted into doubling up at quarterback, because you know how they do.
Yeah, let them if they're going to be silly with that. So we just got to get past the turn, which not a guarantee. I would certainly understand.
He's taking a quarterback. I don't think he's going to double tap it, but
what team one? Team one hasn't.
No, I'm saying he's going to take one. I don't see him double tapping though.
Oh, no. I'm not worried about. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't think anyone.
We have a really good shot. Even with Kyler gone, we still have 3 quarterbacks in our queue, and we have a backup plan. Of Caleb.
God forbid we get some douchers out here double tapping all over the place, man.
Some douchers.
Yeah, man. But if we have to go into it with I prefer not to have Tua and Kirk Cousins be our quarterbacks, but this is where late round QB came from, man. The discrepancy between your borderline QB1 and your kind of mid-tier QB2s, man.
I'm with you.
I want Richardson or Daniels. I'm not going to try to push this to round 13 or anything, but it's not that's why I felt good about getting Chase Brown there, because there was it was looking somewhat likely that if it got back to us, we were going to be, Rico Dowdle or Blake Corum.
We could be hosed.
That's a hole.
And the other nice thing about taking Chase Brown there is it leaves us open. Let's say quarterback does get sniped on us.
Yeah.
It leaves us open to say, fine, we'll just take Jonathan Brooks. We at least have somebody we can plug in our lineup in week 2, and now we can take somebody that might help us later in the year. I mean, it just leaves us a lot of flexibility.
A little bit of upside, if you will, on Jonathan Brooks. Good reminder on Jonathan Brooks, not to name names, but yeah, when certain national reporters say he's going to be cleared by training camp in April, maybe worth remembering that, we got some agents writing some of those tweets some of those times. So good to listen to our learning doctors. And I think Dwain expected
we projected him to miss the 4 games from the get-go on the side.
It didn't. So. I don't know about you. I didn't change or drop him really. If we dropped him, it was more because of ADP. Let's freaking go. Come on, Anthony Richardson.
He's really pushing it.
I respect it.
Hey, here's the good news. If someone's going to be tempted to double tap quarterback here on the way back to us, it's going to be for Richardson. Yeah. And we're for sure getting Jaden Daniels. So
that's true.
We're good.
That's true.
We should be in the clear.
Richardson would be pretty cool. You know what I'm saying, though?
There goes Jonathan Brooks.
This would make
I'm telling you, this room sharper. They're not there's no self-implosion happening. This guy here's sick though. He's like, he thought he got a deal on Lamar Jackson around 7, which is still a better deal, honestly, than Anthony Richardson, probably around 9. But he's probably just like, God dang. I love his build. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have a tight end.
Brees, he went, we're talking about team 4 here.
Taking David Njoku right here. Is he really going to risk it?
I think he'll go RB. Brees Hall, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, George Pickens, Tank Dell, Chris Godwin, Lamar Jackson, Brian Thomas Jr., and oh, look, Ian was right. Devin Singletary off the board as well. So strong build, but yeah, man, it's risky pushing the tight ends, but maybe he comes back and he still gets Dallas Goedert to fall to him. If you do look from his perspective, you look right, and all of a sudden there is only one team.
Yeah, he's got Njoku, Brock Bowers, Dallas Goedert, all there. All the Brock Bowers right now.
We're not about to double tap.
Huh?
We're not about to double tap tight end. I doubt these.
Oh, no. I'm saying he's probably looking at the tier and seeing what he has left, and he knows that he had to have the running back.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bowers not practicing. I know Pierce came out and said it's not a big deal and stuff, but be a lot cooler if he was practicing. So.
Yeah, again, we hear a lot of, it doesn't matter, everything's fine at this time of year.
Right. That Raiders offense, man.
It's going to get real next week when we got to see the real reporting.
Keon Coleman. Nothing crazy, Paul. You have Patrick Mahomes.
He already sniped us on Mahomes. If he doesn't, so here's the thing. He took Jacoby Myers. We just got Anthony freaking Richardson.
Round 9, Richardson. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many quarterbacks are already gone? We got Richardson at his freaking price last year.
Yeah, man. People love double counting some shit. That's all I know.
We literally didn't have to pay the premium.
And there goes Burrow. Jaden Daniels is going to come off the board to man, oh man.
Man, oh man. Anthony Richardson around 9. We're building a bit of a juggernaut, Dwayne. I don't want to hurt myself, patting my own back, but I like this squad.
Bro, I mean, we didn't think Anthony Richardson makes it back, but you made the point that there's a chance, and it's all about reading the draft board. So when you guys are drafting, like having something like this up in front of you, you want to be looking at the queue and whose names are at the top because you want to be thinking about who might go next. But understanding what your opponents have is so huge to trying to basically press edges and hopefully get to do things like what just happened. Because if we didn't look at that, Ian, we would have just taken Anthony Richardson.
TFC2 just commented in the chat, unreal. I wonder if that was about us getting Richardson.
Probably. It's okay, TFC. We think your team's pretty loaded, bro.
That's the first chat of the entire. Oh, we got a double tap. Bowers went to Team Kelsey.
That's good.
Well, it's good. I mean, it's good for us.
It's good for us.
Yeah,
because I like TFC2's team, and he seems like a great human. But I hope he doesn't get a tight end.
I was in an auction draft on a Monday, and I got in the room, and I was like, hey everyone, good luck. Let's have fun out there. And then I was quickly like, nah, I'm just kidding. I hope you guys all freaking have a horrible draft. That's what we're here for, man. I'm trying to build a good team. I hope none of you do. So if you guys win, I'll give credit where credit's due. But get that sportsmanship out of here. We're not doing that shitty commercial from back in the day. I'm trying to win, man.
All right, let's start talking about our next pick. I've got Dowdle, Corum.
None of these wide receivers are moving.
No, we have to take running back.
We're good.
Like we've made our bed. We've got our receivers. Cool. We have to take runners. We just have to pile them on. There goes Zeke. Yeah. Ezekiel Elliott gone.
Corum would be great. Not that we talked about the punt return business on the Fantasy Life show this morning, which you guys can check out. Long story short, we are not adjusting the ranks over it. It is interesting, but again, I think, Dwayne, you said it perfect. It's just people on both sides are confirming their priors with the news and just twisting the words into whatever they want to make it.
Yeah, and it's honestly one of those situations where you can.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all eye of the beholder kind of scenario, because it's really a meaningless thing either way, in my opinion. So yeah, just twist it the way you want.
Jerome Ford off the board at the turn. So again, guys, through 9 rounds, we got our starting lineup set. We got Anthony freaking Richardson in round 9. That's a late round QB at that point. Even if you don't believe in Anthony Richardson, you better believe in him in round 9, or you just don't believe in fantasy football projections to begin with. But yeah, RB1, Devin Achane, RB2, Chase Brown, 2 pretty good guys to have on a full PPR side, if I do say so myself. Justin Jefferson, Jalen Waddle, Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, and Roma Dunze filling out the wide receiver room. And oh, Dwayne, we must have had to wait on tight end. Oh no, we got Kyle Pitts hanging out there as well. So,
woo. Yeah, we got to pound these backs, man. So Benson just went, and you like Corum here, right? There goes Gus Edwards.
Okay, I'd love Corum. I'll say this: if we can't get Corum,
I got Dowdle in the queue. I got Jalen Wright in the queue. I got Zach Charbonnet in the queue, and I have J.K. Dobbins in the queue.
That was the last name you said, Dwayne. That was
dude. I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'm just feeling it. I don't know why. I don't really have a good reason other than just like I just keep reading the reports about him. If this dude comes out and he does have a 50% rush share and he's 80% of what he used to be, huh?
Corum.
All right, so take Corum here, and then we'll see if we get the other one back.
There we freaking go. No, I'm with you, man. And look,
we did pass Dowdle. Are you just concerned about I don't think Dalvin's going on the practice squad, so I'm not that worried about it. But I do think Corum is a more talented player, and if you do run into a Kyron Williams injury, I think Blake Corum is worth a lot more than Rico, even if he's got most of the backfield to himself in Dallas.
Exactly. Blake Corum is one injury away from being
a league winner,
top 10 running back. Rico Dowdle, man. Zeke and Dalvin and Deuce Vaughn could all get hurt, and maybe his role just doesn't really change. We don't know. It's wide open. And there's some value in that uncertainty. If Rico comes back to us, okay. But for me, Blake Corum, like if we had to legit rank the top 3 handcuffs in fantasy football, like removing the whole, there's no I don't consider either the Lions running backs a handcuff. I don't consider any of the Dolphins running backs a handcuff. So if you look at actual clear backup running backs, I think it's definitely Blake Corum. And honestly, man, like, again, the whole punt return thing, but it could be like more of a 60-40 split than we're expecting. That's possible.
It is.
Lead, but
it is possible. And it's also, it doesn't have to be a season-ending injury. Sometimes you just need like a 3-week stretch out of a dude, I mean, because we're about to pile on a bunch of backs. Yeah. And more often than not, the way that situation ultimately works out for you isn't that you get a season-ending injury to the starter and you're suddenly just sitting on a gold mine. It's you're getting injuries to the starters and you get to use Blake Corum for 3 weeks. And then one of the other guys is the guy now that has an injury to the starter that you're going to put in for the next 2 weeks. And then, so on and so forth. Like it just keeps, as the kids like to say, and around we go.
And that's why I hear some people say, like James Conner or Raheem Mostert, are they going to be there for you, when it matters at the end of the season? We don't know when they're going to get hurt. I mean, look at James Conner over the past 2 years. Yes, he missed games, but in 2022, he missed weeks 6 through 8, and then he was awesome when you needed him in the fantasy playoffs. Last year, he missed weeks 6 through 9, and he was awesome when you needed him in the fantasy playoffs. So, again, I'm not even trying to say Conner and Mostert. I get it. They've had the injuries. They're older. Like, there is data that suggests they're more likely to miss time than, Bijan Robinson out here or whatever. Knock on wood. Not trying to, put some bad voodoo out there. But, again, quit pretending like we can predict now the weeks they're going to get injured. And that's a bit of a ridiculous statement for me. So Brock Purdy to the Jordan Love team with Jaden Daniels still on the board
that's good.
That's a choice.
Wow. And Kirk Cousins ahead of Jaden Daniels. What is happening?
Just spit. That was crazy. Spit take by me on that one. He doesn't even have any.
Look, man down here passed on quarterback. Wow. With Jaden Daniels sitting there for him.
Is he going to come back?
It's going to come back to him.
Touche. I hope Christopher.
I'll be honest. If I were to take another quarterback this early, I would do it with Jaden Daniels with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I feel like we're like blocking someone. I don't think that's actually best for our team, though.
I think once you get to around 11, all bets are off. Like then it's just like
we'll see who's on the board. I'm not saying no.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's what I want to do, but like you do get to a point to where,
right?
If something did happen to Anthony Richardson, like you still have someone you absolutely love. You don't just do it to block someone. Like if it was Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff, no, man, screw that. But we're talking about a guy that we think could go berserk. that you even just said like could outscore the other guy we have. I'm with you that I want the running back. There went Hubbard. Hubbard I had in the queue as well, just especially on this team where you just need a week 1 starter.
Yeah. Going to be interesting next. Man, I think we're going to get one of these running backs falling back to us. Is Charbonnet? I think Charbonnet is okay, right? I know he was banged up for a little bit, but I'm pretty sure he's back at practice. He's been back at practice.
He's supposed to be back, yeah. So do you like Dobbins over Dowdle? Have we? Is this where we've gotten to? I do like the offensive line for the Chargers better.
Yeah, man. I think we're going Dobbins too. Again, what I was going to say.
I mean, I'll take Dowdle too. I mean, it's kind of funny though. Like, it's an interesting dynamic we have here that we're both willing to take J.K. Dobbins over Rico Dowdle, who goes like Rico Dowdle goes 30 picks. Nice. There, we didn't even have to worry about it. Awesome. You just got snapped down there, man. Oh man.
Oh, Paul. Okay, that's fine. Rico Dowdle it is.
Oh wow, how'd Paul pull that out of his ass?
Paul sniped us. Paul's gotten us a couple times. Touche to you, Paul. But
that's Paul got us with Patrick Mahomes and with Dobbins.
That's okay. Might have been irresponsible.
Well, I was about to say anyway, like I was about to have a conversation with you. Are we really sure that we're taking Dobbins over Dowdle?
Nah.
I mean, we've got him in a clear tier break ahead as Dowdle.
I'm pretty sure I have a Dowdle ranked ahead of him. You know, sometimes we get caught up in the moment, Dwayne.
Well, dude, I'm telling you, I am. It's a vibes thing. I'm feeling it right now on J.K. Dobbins, like in a big way.
And look, as much as we could be out there in week 1 and we're like, oh my God, Dobbins got 15 carries and he looks good. He could also go out there and we're like, oh yeah, dude's coming off a torn Achilles. He looks like a running back going off a torn Achilles. So always funny how the, outlook on a player changes in fantasy when you know he's not going to be on your team. But yeah, Dowdle, my RB 41, Dwayne's RB 35. Let's see, Dobbins. I actually do have Dobbins ahead of Dowdle. So we actually have them almost flipped. So I agree. They're in the same tier, but yeah. We need running backs either way.
I'm loading up the queue.
More running backs we got on the board. Zach Charbonnet would be a nice handcuff option for us. Again, we've come around on the possibility that Kenneth Walker is going to be a lead workhorse back. I've certainly subdued the potential for Charbonnet to actually, make this more of a competition. Or
he's still a great handcuff pick.
Still a great handcuff pick. And that's why we're
still a second round pick and an offense that we're feeling pretty good about. We have questions about the offensive line, no doubt. Yeah. But like he's got an every down skill set. Yeah. He may not be the explosive playmaker that Kenneth Walker is. Oh, wow. A double snipe.
Sucks to suck, man. Oh, man.
It's nice when other people do it. And to your point, like we couldn't pass. There was no way we passed Rico Dowdle. Yeah, you just went from Jaden Daniels down to Goff.
And couldn't even get Caleb as the backup. He was probably like, all right, even if I don't get Daniels, I can. Because we've had that same conversation.
Oh, yeah. Well, you couldn't. It's too far, though. Yeah. When you got to go that far down the board, we're a little closer to the middle. And we were basically like, okay, 2 people need a quarterback. There's 5 that we like.
Zach Charbonnet.
That's different math than there's 1 left that I like. And it's got to go all the way down and back, even though there was only 1 other team that needed a quarterback.
We have 4 running backs already. I do think we could use another one here. Charbonnet.
Oh, yeah, we got to go running back.
I think Jaleel will be pretty fantastic here.
Oh, me too. Charbonnet, Jaleel, and Bucky Irving are the guys I have at the top.
What if week 1 happens and Jaleel gets 12 carries and 6 targets?
We'll feel fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth. But yeah, man, I mean, losing P. Ryan's huge. I know Javonte can catch the ball. Maybe the answer is Javonte just taking off. But man, just constant drumbeat, as you know, the great Sigmund Bloom will say about Jaleel. And I know we saw him.
There he goes.
There he goes anyway. I should have shut my freaking mouth. So.
It's all right. It's just the tier, man. This is where they go.
Just the tier. So Zach Charbonnet, and then we move down to Bucky Irving, Ray Davis, Jordan Mason, and Tyler Algier. I'll say this, Dwayne. I don't mind Ray Davis, but I almost prefer Mason and Algier. I'm just more confident in their handcuff.
I put Mason above Davis.
Cool.
Oh, God, Gabriel Davis. How'd you get in my queue? It's supposed to be Ray Davis.
Get out. Get him out.
Get out of here. A name you will not find on our fantasy teams.
It's like that. It's like that meme where it's like, what the hell is this polar bear doing in Texas? Like Gabe Davis in our queue. Get out of here. Come on.
So looking at the queue, top 300 players, Charbonnet is definitely sitting at the top. then it's Vidal, then it's Lloyd.
So you're saying we could maybe get Mason coming back to us?
Maybe he's moving. He's definitely moving up boards. So I can't guarantee you anything here. But here we go again. There goes Lloyd. So I mean, people are kind of using the queue here.
I wouldn't mind Bucky though, man. I'm with you where if you do look at these running backs, like which one could get their job yanked, I mean, I think it's Rashad White.
Yeah, I think the queue is right. Charbonnet and then Irving. We're getting one of them.
I'm fine with Charb, but I'd be fine Bucky over Charb. I'll honestly leave it up to you. I think we have between Charb and Bucky, we're gonna get one of them, and I can talk myself into either. I'm very much fine. Let me see who I have. I probably have Charb ranked higher.
But it is vibes. The vibes are better for Bucky Irving.
Vibes are indeed better.
And honestly, it's not a hard tier break. It's a mini tier break that this is in. So I don't consider that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So you know me, dude. I love Bucky Irving. I'm like Captain Bucky Irving underpants. Like I don't even know what that means, but that's me. It's
provocative. I'll give you that.
Do we want to just take Bucky Irving and say screw it?
Let's take Bucky Irving. Screw it, Dwayne.
All right, let's do it.
That's our first, pure vibes based pick, but it's not even an egregious one.
It's still really same tier. We're fine.
Maybe Chubb makes it back. Probably not, but you could imagine there. So through 12 rounds, everybody, we got Anthony Richardson holding down the QB1 spot. Devin Achane, Chase Brown's the starting running backs. Blake Corum, Rico Dowdle, and Bucky Irving, as some backup RBs. Justin Jefferson, Jalen Waddle, Rashid Rice, Zay Flowers as our starting wide receivers and 2 flexes. And, Roma Dunze chilling on our bench until, again, he just starts, taking over and going for $150 and 2 tuds each and every week and forcing his way into the starting lineup. And then, Kyle Pitts chilling in the tight end 1 spot as well. So, a couple situations, Dwayne, where, we had to, I don't want to say we got lucky. We've been making some educated decisions to pass on guys here, but I think getting Richardson to fall back to us after we looked and saw only the 2 teams didn't have a quarterback, kind of going between us. Sure enough, only Kyler went in that round. That was fantastic. And then, the decision to get Kyle Pitts, who I do not think would have been falling back to us. Yeah. Maybe we still could have got Kittle, but, it's just one of those things where as great as Kittle is, you need Ayuk or Debo to be out for him to be getting triple-digit targets. We've seen 3 straight freaking years of this. And, hey, I didn't see any fall off in Kittle's plan, man. But, when you do look at age, Pitts is freaking 9 years younger at this point. So there is enough of a difference where, I do think we should go Kittle there Pitts there, excuse me. And, again, our choice with that was like, all right, we can – and we also weren't guaranteed because there were 2 teams without a tight end. So there was a chance that Pitts and Kittle could have gone off the board. And then we're really not feeling good about it. Meanwhile, we were looking at the wide receivers and we were hoping that one of Terry, Cooper, Flowers, or Higgins would make it back to us. And lo and behold, we got Zay Flowers. So I'd say so far, so good, Mr. McFarland.
Yeah, man. I agree with you. And so it kind of goes back to the draft strategy piece, which if folks haven't read it, you can go check it out over at FantasyLife.com. It's for free. But it talks about the dynamic of basically in rounds 4 through 6, it's a good idea to grab one of your onesies, either your tight end or your quarterback. This year, it's been more often tight end for me because I feel like it's tougher to get a really good tight end in the next 3 rounds than it is quarterback because we like Jaden Daniels. We like Kyler Murray. We like Joe Burrow. There's quite a bit of value there. Now, if you get Patrick Mahomes, because we would have taken Mahomes if he was there for us in round 5. And that would have probably put us off of Pitts, right? It would have been Mahomes, and we would have come back with the wide receivers, and we would have probably, unless Pitts fell to us, we might have tried it. But I do think getting in there just made things so much more easy for us because then we didn't need a starting tight end and a starting quarterback and trying to fill out our running back room. It gets really tough. You're going to get clipped at something. Something is going to be, you're going to have to give somewhere. We're giving in the one place we're the most willing to give, running back, where now we can just load up and we're rolling the freaking dice. There goes Jordan Mason.
A lot of teams taking 2 quarterbacks, which is fine by me. Not that we're completely, and there goes a kicker. Yeah, not that we're completely against it, Dwayne, but we've seen these drafts like Aaron Rodgers falls to round 18 sometimes. Like once you're getting the 2 QB, sort of situation, freaking wait. If you have a top 10, top 11 QB, freaking wait, because they're not going to be snatching that starting job to begin with. So Zach Charbonnet goes, 4 picks up before his TFC 2.
What are your thoughts on? I like TFC's team. But man, I'll be honest. I would not want to have to guess the weeks that I would actually want Taysom Hill in my lineup.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
to
it
me,
works
I'm just telling you. That's why I don't like waiting on the tight ends. I don't like it, man. I don't want to be dealing. As much as we say Dallas Goedert's in the same tier, he's going to do the same thing because he's in a loaded offense, right? And then Pat Freiermuth, I want no part of. Taysom Hill in best ball, I mean, if you could draft him as a tight end eligible player, I like it. I do think Taysom Hill is the pick if you get into this situation. So I agree with the move that TFC made fully. Like, I totally get it. Like, and he's the guy in my tier that's right there. That's the guy I would take. But man, I would not want to be trusting that dude.
I'm looking at his game log right now. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, 6 games where he had more than 5 carries.
Would you? And most of his big games were with Juwan Johnson out. We just got Tyler Algier to fall all the way back.
Let's freaking go. Let me just double check.
Oh shit.
Okay, easy. Yeah, no, that's fine.
He was at a hard tier break.
Yeah. I was just making sure. Yeah, Tyler Algier would have exactly been who I wanted anyway. So there we go.
We nearly got Charbonnet, but TFC is a sharp drafter. Like, I'm looking at his team. I really do like it.
Yeah, and so let me see.
He made the best out of it taking Taysom Hill, but
he got sniped on Dallas Goedert. I think that was the problem. He probably don't. And the one thing he should have done, I don't know that okay.
It's tough to let Jalen Wright go there. I love Jalen Wright too. And
he took the 6th wide receiver. He pretty much did. He sacrificed. Like, we were thinking about taking the 6th wide receiver, and we chose not to because we knew it put us at a potential RB2 deficit. He got Singletary to avoid that, but again, you can't always, have your
coming back in round 9 though. Yeah, I mean, that having to take Singletary, he couldn't get Bowers, and
he should have taken Goddard over Wright. That's where he got cocky.
Yeah, but I do agree that, like, when you look at Wright, you and I both know, I get what he's thinking, league winning upside. But yeah, coming back in round 10, well, the Brock Bowers to the Kelsey owner got him, because then when it got back to him, had Bowers somehow still been there and Goddard, he probably gets one of them to come back to him.
Taysom Hill is 34. Can we talk about that more? He's 34 years old. And I know he's Mormon, so it's a little bit, he's younger in Mormon years out here, a little less wear and tear. He's played 16 games, all but one of the last.
I think I would still
6 years.
Would you take Taysom Hill over Dalton Schultz?
I think I lean Schultz. I think it's after Schultz. I'm with you.
I have him in the same tier. I have a mini tier. Hard break after Goddard. Mini tier, Schultz, Taysom. And then, honestly, mini tier in redraft, TJ Hawkinson, because you can at least deal with
later,
it. You're not getting in best ball. If you take TJ Hawkinson, it matters because he has no chance to be in your best ball lineup, right? The first 6 to 8 weeks. Over here, you're having to set your lineup every week anyway, so it's fine. You're just kind of sitting on him.
Especially, if you're in a home redraft league, we can just stash them on IR. That's best case. We don't get that luxury over here. But one of my buddies had my home 8-man league draft last Friday in Chicago. Fun time with the boys. And it's 8 men, so your teams are all going to look freaking sweet by the end of it. But one of my buddies just took Hawkinson in like the last round, and I was like, damn, I probably should have thought of that. But had a few too many Kona big waves, I would say, Dwain, to be fully locked into what we were doing. But yeah. Because when you have that, I mean, think about it. You have so many freaking, great options on the waiver wire as it is. Throw the dude in the IR spot and then just pick him up. And guess what? You have your keeper most likely for next year anyway. So, geez, everyone loading up on these quarterbacks, which is fine by me. A couple wide receivers. I wouldn't mind, Dwayne. I'm shocked they're still here with us because I was almost looking at them a couple rounds ago.
I like them, but I think if one of the 2 running backs we have in the queues here, we have to take it. But I know who you're talking about. And I agree. Because that's it. Look below. It's about to get.
Yeah,
it's about to be super hairy.
It's literally them and no one else. All right,
Keaton Mitchell. How about that?
Tracy versus Bigsby. Talk me through it.
I like Tracy because I think, to your point, like Devin Singletary. Like, I think he's the lesser of him and Travis Etienne.
Yeah. I also don't love the fact that Tank Bigsby was arguably the worst running back in the NFL last year. It's not a great data point.
He's the clear cuff here. But I think Tyrone Tracy has a better chance of carving out a little bit of work on his own. I like the Jaguars offense better though. So I think like it's one of these that you can really argue both ways. They are in the same tier. So like if you had a strong lean either way, I'd be fine. I do lean Tracy, and then there goes Adonai Mitchell. So I know that's one of the names that Adonai Mitchell should not be going that late, especially with as heavy as some of these teams went at running back early. Now this wasn't as heavy on running back early. No. The guy that took Justin Tucker and Pat Freiermuth was the last 2 picks. It should have been Adonai Mitchell and Rashid Shaheed. Like,
yeah,
100%. I mean, yeah. So you got to think about stuff like that. Oh, there goes Tracy. So it doesn't matter. We're going to take.
Hold on. I kind of like Shaheed, bro. We already have 6 running backs.
Shaheed? I get it, but in this build, remember, we're just we're not guaranteed any of these guys take over a job. We're just hoping we get a few weeks out of them.
Even if Shaheed is just going off, we're still not going to be able to start him.
I'm looking. Shaheed is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down.
How far down is Bigsby?
Bigsby's not even in the view on running back yet. Let me see where he's at. Where is he? So if we want to try to get both.
As much as there really isn't another, I hear you. Bigsby's a bit of a drop off, but so is Shaheed.
All right. I'll take him.
You cool with Shaheed?
You don't normally get him here. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hell yeah. Round 14, Rashid Shaheed. The need for Shaheed. Now we got that team name option as well. Gotta love that. And you messaged me last night. He is supposed to be good to go for week 1.
Yes.
Not that he's starting, but
again, we really don't know what these coaches mean by this stuff. A lot of times I think they're just basically swatting away the reporters. It's just like generic. Yeah, he should be good to go.
One of the wilder reports was Rashid Shaheed. Someone reported that he was burning the corners so consistently in practice that the coach told him to sit out, which doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you not just, I don't know. Does that happen to Justin Jefferson in Vikings practice? I kind of doubt it, but hey, it's good to hear that he's toasting the cornerbacks out there. So Shaheed, I mean, it wasn't a 1-for-1 comp. Who was I freaking? This is great podcasting. I apologize, but he's got such good underlyings. I mean, he's almost. It wasn't.
Yeah, his yards per route run are really great. He is a player that you can get involved around the line of scrimmage if you want to get him like the quick stuff.
He's like a less cool Dontavian Wicks almost.
Yeah. And he can really work all areas of the field. He can hit you deep. He can get you on a slant route and take it to the house. Mm-hmm. You can use him around the line of scrimmage. They're going to use 2 wide receiver sets like it's going out of style. And so that automatically is going to funnel more targets to Rashid Shaheed because he's not having to deal with a slot wide receiver being out there. So the only thing with Shaheed has been the injury. There is so much to like about him. To be honest, like if he had not been hurt, like we might have clicked on him like 2 or 3 rounds ago. We probably wouldn't have just because we needed the running backs. But to your point, it's a good call by you, him falling this far. Like if Tyrone Tracy were there, it would have been tougher on me. But looking at Bigsby being so far down the queue, even if somebody else has Bigsby high on their list they're looking at and they take him, it's like, okay, I can live with it because it was Shaheed. Yeah. And I do feel like there's an upside scenario for him. And if we're being honest, like there's a downside scenario for Odunze as much as we love him if he's not playing enough early in the year. So Rashid Shaheed could end up like playing a role for our team early in the season. We can't assume everything's great. I know we want to, when we're drafting these teams, but he could definitely have utility.
I mean, look, I'm not saying Derek Carr is going to come out here and throw for 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns, but last year, 3,800, 25 scores. No more Michael Thomas. And guess what? Michael Thomas was out of the picture last year. Shaheed was a true every down receiver. So now have 6 of them on the squad. Jettas, Waddle, Rice, Flowers, Odunze, and Rashid Shaheed. Might take a couple later because
double kicker. Tucker and Aubrey locking it down. Butker also off the board, boys.
Unfreaking real. Take them. Thank you, everyone. Got Julia's not her home league, her only league. The company draft tomorrow, Dwain. Little 10-man on ESPN. I'm excited.
Nice. Is she ready to dominate?
She's ready to hand her phone to me and listen along as we go. We'll see what happens. All right. Baltimore Ravens defense off the board in round 14. So I would say, again, we'll see what players there at this point. I mean, there's knock on wood. Shouldn't be any freaking injuries or big time news that's going to alter things. So as much as, we can talk about not taking the DST or kicker, just probably get it done at this point.
So Would Julia just let you draft back to back? Me asking you on air here. You guys are all here. Ian turned me down. He doesn't really like fantasy football. He only does this for a job.
What, 10:30 you're saying?
If they had room in it, because I know we've got some entries to use.
Let's do it. I may or may not have locked in earlier and was going to bring it up to you after we were done already. Look at that.
Well, we should probably sign up for it now.
We're in. We're already in.
Oh, we're in? Okay, sweet. Yeah. How many teams are in it? We're
full, I think.
Oh, we just filled it?
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
So good talk, Dwain.
I'm giving you a hard time. Amanda's going to kill me.
Love it. Let's just do that one, though. We don't have to record it. How's that sound?
Well, now people are going to know we're not going to record it because they're hearing us say that.
Well, I know, but we're giving them plenty.
We'll record it, and we'll just see what our team wants to do with it. Like, you and I are going to sit here and talk through all this anyway.
That's true. It is at 10:30. I can get a little more time, and so that'll be fun.
We can go grab some beers. Get your Kona Big Wave.
I'm working through a couple right now.
I need one.
Sponsored by Kona. Not really, but you could imagine that'd be freaking sweet.
So, hey, I want to ask you this, just for the exercise of it. If you got Taysom Hill, is there a quarterback? Would there be a tight end that you would have been trying to quickly target?
Another tight end.
For me, I think Musgrave was the name, just because he's still young. He was a second-round pick. I didn't love him last year, but he plays with Jordan Love.
Is he the second best tight end on his own team, though? That's my only thing.
Well, maybe not. But we're in round 14 and 15. You got to take shots on some young players. And I'm not. Maybe that's not the guy for you.
Yeah.
For me, though, if I'm looking for all the ingredients, I think he's in an offense I like. He is a young player. They've got the draft capital in. I get the whole thing with Tucker Kraft, but if Tucker Kraft's going to be enough to okay, whew, I thought you just told me Bigsby went. I was sitting here thinking it was already done deal to us, and it is.
There we go. Yeah. We got our cake and ate it too. Tank Bigsby, come on down around later. I hear you. I'm not against.
Give me another name then. Give me
no
Is it Fant? Yeah, I like Fant too. I have Fant there too.
I still don't know why Jonnu goes as late as he does.
It's just because he's not there. He's going to get a 60% route participation. That's what people worry about.
I don't think it's a guarantee. I know that's what happened in the one preseason game. It's, it is usually directionally.
Well, it's kind of been Jonnu's calling card for his whole career.
Yeah.
It's also, now he did have 1 year with Mike Vrabel where that wasn't the case, to be fair to him.
He got paid after it.
He did get paid by the Patriots, who don't know how to use any of their weapons. The Patriots bring people in, and then they just run the opposite scheme of how they would be successful. I don't understand, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit Julia with the I got some more work to do, but it's actually just another draft that she doesn't need to know. I don't think she's checking our YouTube page too often. It was I was watching some Yellowstone with my mom last night, and it was the episode where Casey killed a guy. He's on the cover of every newspaper, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, Dad. Monica doesn't read the paper." And then someone shows her the newspaper, and her husband's just on the front page of it. It's whoops.
All right, on a team like this with Richardson, do you have any interest in Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I actually do. I was thinking that earlier. Honestly, Jalen
McMillan's the other name that's sitting there, along with Audric Estime. Then I think after that, I like Trey Sermon, but we can wait.
Right.
So I feel like it's McMillan and Estime and Rodgers are who I kind of am feeling at this next pick. In case comes out here and is just freaking all wild and crazy.
And what if Rodgers is playing like he did in 2021 when he was a freaking league?
There's an upside case there.
Yeah. Right? I'm cool with Rodgers. I'd feel pretty okay with that. It's round 16. You know what I'm saying? I like McMillan, but it's just going to be really tough to ever get him in this lineup.
Yeah, it's just kind of that we at least know he got the starting job. Because, again, it's vibes.
I hear you.
Dude's balled out, essentially, to go just earn that job.
I will say, looking at the wide receivers past McMillan. After McMillan,
you don't really like any of those names. I know you don't. Because I can't even get you to. I can't convince you to even click on most of those people.
Your guy Yoshi just went, so we don't have to have that.
Well, I ain't going to bring him up anymore. I was going to put him in 27.5 here in about 2 rounds.
Just click it before I can even say anything. Nah, we don't do that. But Yeah. I would say let's go McMillan because even if we don't get Rodgers, I mean, Geno Smith had a QB8 finish 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold we have Justin Jefferson. Sam Darnold could be a bad real life quarterback and still just throw the ball all over the yard.
There goes Estime, so he's out.
Okay. Any running backs? Estime would have been the guy. I'm with you.
I think that's what I'm saying. Estime and McMillan were at the top. Now, if McMillan goes, I say we just take Aaron Rodgers. Like it's cool like destiny.
We have a chance to get Rodgers coming back. Who knows what happens? I mean, every team has at least 2 quarterbacks other than the Hurts, Lamar, and Mahomes team. So I'm not going to pretend like I know what these people are thinking when it comes to quarterbacks because clearly we don't. But
well, they're all taking their defenses and their kickers. So the next thing to do is take another quarterback.
That's true. I'm just saying, I mean, all of them except those teams with legit top 5 quarterbacks already have 2. So
Dolchich off the board.
To the team of Kelsey and Brock Bowers. Okay. Go ahead. Jalen McMillan. I will say for our next
Dennis, we're not in a tight end premium, bro.
I got to change up my aquarium background to something else. I don't know. I thought I'd put in highlights, but I didn't want to get our YouTube channel. Yeah,
I guess the only other name here would be Fant. I mean, so if we're talking about tier breaks, because that one I think is a pretty decent tier break right after. But there goes Levis. I think it's Aaron or McMillan, and then we'll see what happens coming back.
We can get Isaiah Likely later. I mean, we're starting Kyle Pitts until Cool. All right, 4 more picks for us. We are again, in all likelihood, going to take a kicker and defense because we're going to have to. I mean, never say never. Maybe we can talk ourselves into
we'll see what's here, man. I don't know. I mean, we don't have a very long turnaround time now, so I mean, we kind of know before we were betting on cuts. The thing that still could happen is an injury in practice this week,
Correct,
over the weekend.
And those do happen, but when there's not even any games happening, I was saying like there's not even because the cuts have happened now. We don't even have the
right. Yeah, the upside's not the same
situation.
Exactly, which you nailed, by the way.
Yeah, ended up going.
That was a good one.
Couple rounds,
dude. We couldn't have ran any better. The Chiefs? Are you kidding me?
That's great. Yeah, that worked out best case. So.
Could not have ran any better on that.
Hell yeah, with that, he definitely would have been going, around 17, 18 or something at least. So. Yeah, I would say in an ideal world, we get Rodgers to come back to us, and then we can scoop up Trey Sermon after that. We don't need a second tight end necessarily.
No, and it's. I'm staying open to it if it's like the thing that's there.
If we can't get Sermon, I would be after Sermon. I don't see another running back I want. I don't care all that much about Sermon. Likely would have been a cool.
Well, it's just in these leagues, like you're 20 rounds, so these are the kind of names that you're drafting. Exactly. It's Akers and Sermon. Sermon at least is the clear cut backup to his guy. Now all these people on these sites, I will say, love Justice Hill more than me. I just feel like I've seen Justice Hill I've seen that team now multiple times in a situation where they could have just given it all to Justice Hill and they never have. So I just don't think they will. I don't think they see him that way.
It's because of that one Harbaugh quote where he said he's considered a starter, which is just John Harbaugh being a kind-hearted guy more than anything. It's Justice Hill, I did make a little money on Justice Hill's receiving overs at the end of last year, so I appreciate
they
him
were
for
nice.
That. Appreciate him for that, but yeah, I just don't ever. I mean, look, they signed Ravens are the king of that, man. They'll freaking drag Devontae Freeman's corpse out of retirement before they, give Justice Hill 20 carries in a game. Keaton Mitchell going around 14 is kind of hilarious.
I'll say this: like, if I was the team down there with Taysom Hill, I do like the pick of Likely.
Yeah. No,
Likely's the upside that if something did happen to Andrews, you're going to feel great about it. The other name that I would be targeting in that scenario late like this would be Sennett.
All right, Dwayne, our next team name is the guy on the couch from Half Baked. Remember that guy? The dude just chilling on their couch.
I don't know, man, if I remember.
Have you ever seen Half Baked?
Yeah,
Chappelle? Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it a couple times.
Okay.
Not enough. I'm in draft mode. Yeah, not as many times as you.
Every now and then, Dwayne just had enough of my nonsense. We are drafting.
No, Half Baked is that's funny. I mean, it's a
quality film.
I was still young when that came out.
I do love how Chappelle just makes all that money on top of the world, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go live in bumfuck Ohio and just chill for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take a page out of his book, Dwayne. I'll just delete Twitter one of these days. You guys will not even know where I went. No, I'm not going to do that. I like tweeting too much. All right, I just sent you a invite to your email.
There goes Akers.
That would have been potentially one of the other ones, but we would still be recommending Dame Pierce over Akers, I think, if something happened to Mixon for now. It wouldn't be strong. Wouldn't be telling people to blow all their fab on it or anything.
Did Pierce go?
No, he didn't.
I'll put him in the queue. Just to your point, in case. He's looked like a just steaming pile of crap. But.
I hear you, but the steaming pile of crap has good usage.
But I mean, it's the same thing in Kansas City. Like, I mean, is it really just Clyde Edwards-Helaire's the RB2? I mean, or do they not have an RB2 and it's a committee if something happens?
I think it's a 3-back committee at this point. They give Steele the short yardage stuff. They have P. Ryan now as the pass down back, and Clyde gets the carries. We don't give a shit about the carries between the 20s that he probably won't make that much out of. Aaron Rodgers. There we go. I mean,
I like having a few teams where I've got this.
Kirk Cousins in round 10 versus Aaron Rodgers in round 17. I get it. If you want to rank Kirk ahead of him, fine, but man. Insanity. And Stafford went round 13.
Yeah. I will say, man, we like pushing it on quarterback and just having one, but just from a standpoint of not having to worry about the damn waiver wire, it's kind of nice. If something happens,
we say that without
little cheat codes.
Did we check their buys? Okay, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't check it, but it doesn't matter. It's just Rodgers shouldn't be here in round 17 with how early everybody took their backup quarterbacks.
No, I hear you. I've been getting cocky on the treadmill recently because I always start a draft when I get there. But if the 30-second clocks, it's usually about 40, 45 minutes. So it makes the last 15 or 20 minutes on the treadmill a little harder. I don't have time to start a brand new draft. So what I've started doing is I start a second draft, 15 minutes in the first one. So then I have this 20, 30-minute period where I'm having to double up on my phone. It's a little hectic. And I thought I was going hard, but then I talked to Davis Maddock for a little bit. And he says he gets on the treadmill and literally enters like 5 drafts at once and then goes from there, which I don't even know how you can do that and not.
I don't know how you can do that and actually be good at them.
Right, because 2 is hard, man. You wind up on the clock in the same freaking draft, and you make mistakes.
So what I do when I multi-enter, what I've noticed a habit of mine, especially if I'm doing anything else on top of that, which is just stupid for me to try that. Like Davis maybe can do it. I'm not saying he's stupid. We love Davis. He might be a better multitasker than me, but what I find myself doing is, just straight following ADP or honestly just taking like the guys I always take.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to keep up with so many of them. I see the top 4 names. I'm like, oh, like him. But I'm not having enough time to really map out the other things that I want to be mapping out for best ball and my roster construction and any sort of the week 17 stuff. Like, even though I've got it all memorized. Yeah.
I have gone through every single matchup in my head this offseason. I was like, all right, I got it. I didn't even sit down at the beginning and try to do it. It was just, after a couple of weeks of like having to look it up enough and, finally getting, because there's a couple that are struggles. But all right, John, we have one more pick before we go DST and kicker. Would you rather go running back?
Sermon.
Sermon? Cool.
I think it's Sermon if he's here. If not, I don't mind the tight end or just grabbing the Eagles.
Is there a tight end?
Look, the other thing is like, Ricky Pearsall, I get it. But at the end of a draft, like if they did trade Ayuk, I mean, Pearsall has upside. Like I'm just thinking like the players that actually have the most upside in this range.
First round freaking wide receiver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you and I don't take him often, but if there's a team I'd do it on where he falls so far, like this is when I would do it.
I didn't even realize he was still available. League Het went freaking round 10.
Yeah.
Let's go Ricky Pearsall. He's back. He's probably going to be starting, I guess.
I put him in the queue. So if he goes, we'll take Sermon.
Cool. Yeah, because the thing with Sermon, I do agree is the RB2, but we even saw it down the stretch of last year. I mean, okay. No, we got Pearsall. Hell yeah. I just saw the name pop up. I didn't realize it was us. Great. Ricky Pearsall. Come on down. The thing with Trey Sermon, like, I don't think he's this top tier handcuff. I think Tyler Goodson would be taking a lot of the pass down work, unfortunately. And also,
we may still get him. if we want, we could still take him here and wait on the defense and the kicker. But we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, we could.
I know you love kickers, so dude, they have crammed these kickers. What are our
backs
rankers
against
say?
the wall? Oh no,
what do our rankers say about kickers? I'll fill the queue if you want to look.
I love how no one's ever questioned.
I gave you that role of doing that.
I just love how none of the bosses have ever questioned us, like never submitting kicker rankings. It's not like we had a conversation about.
I put it in my contract. What are you talking about?
Let's see. All right, with all due respect to Waz, I'm going off of Friedman's. Aubrey.
Well, we know Friedman nerds out on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Waz does too. I mean, Waz is a top 3 accuracy.
No, I know.
Guy for 3 years in a row.
Okay.
Or over the last 3 years, cumulatively.
Evan McPherson is Friedman's 8. Waz is 12. So that's looking good. He is.
What about Zerline? Like, I like the defense. The offense should be competent. Where do they have him?
Wrong. 14, 15.
And what about Dicker?
12 and 9. So it's McPherson, Dicker, Zerline would be the
Zerline. Okay. And where do they have Jason Meyer?
Those are the highest guys. He's down there at 16, 17.
All right. We got 3 guys in the queue.
3 quarterbacks in a 1 quarterback league. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to do that, like, he stacked it. That's what he was doing. He's stacking Marvin Mims, Bo Nix late.
All right. I mean, when your first quarterback's Kirk Cousins, I guess. But,
I was looking to see if he has any of the other stacks.
If you don't have anything nice to say, as they say, don't say anything at all. So, all right. I'm cool with we'll go kicker around 20, though. What defense do we want?
Eagles.
Cool.
I've completely talked myself into the Eagles. Like, I've gone back and looked at their stupid depth chart like 3 times. I'm like, holy shit, man. Like, these guys, it's loaded. They have pass rushers. They have beef. They've upgraded their corners. They do. And they have a good offense.
I mean, they were sick on run D last year. Just the secondary couldn't guard anyone. So, yeah, they added a shit ton of ballers, and they brought in Vic Fangio. Awesome.
I legit think they have a chance, man, to be the best defense in fantasy. Like, they have the ingredients you need. They've got the talent. They're going to play with the leads, and they just went. Yeah. And I'm an idiot for ever saying it.
All good. Okay, what are the defenses we're working with?
Well, we got Raiders because we know you've mapped that out.
We haven't gotten the Raiders yet. Dolphins are they're so banged up.
They're too hurt.
Yeah.
They're too hurt. If they had Nick Chubb, or not Nick Chubb, if they had Bradley Chubb, and if they had, and we knew Jalen Phillips was going to be ready, he came off of IR and he's practicing, but he's not full strength. I mean, they just have too many issues right now. I think
the Bears are an option.
What about the Chargers?
Chargers are an option. So Bears play Titans, Texans, Colts, Rams, Panthers, Jaguars. Not ideal, but this.
What about the Lions, dude? Didn't they make some major upgrades too? And they
kind of pulled an Eagles, honestly.
Did they?
They added Carlton Davis. They spent some early round draft capital.
Oh yeah, I remember Carlton Davis.
They got Rams, Bucks, Cardinals, Seahawks. Early buy, but
that's not terrible, man. That's not terrible. I kind of like that.
What was the other one you told me to check real quick? I know we're on the clock.
Chargers.
Oh, Chargers. Chargers are pretty good.
It's on us. I can go ahead and just take the kicker if we want McPherson, if that's the top guy. And we're going to get one of these defenses.
Chargers open up with the Raiders, the Panthers, and the Steelers. That's kind of hot.
So you may just take them?
Yeah.
That's really hot.
Yeah, they have the Chiefs after and then a bye, but 3 weeks.
And they still have Khalil Mack and Bosa.
And Derwin and Asante Samuel Jr. They got some blue chips. They're going to be running the ball more. Yeah.
Take Chargers?
Cool. Yeah.
All right, Chargers. And we'll see what kicker comes back.
Get us 3 weeks. Can't hate on
dude.
that.
I kind of like. Now I'm kind of got. So it's like Lions. If they made those changes, you got Chargers, you got Eagles, and we still have the Raiders in the back pocket.
Yeah, we got some. That's why.
If we
that's why you don't need to draft the Ravens in round 14.
Yeah, if we get Dicker, we get the Chargers kicker correlation.
And I feel like that's the sort of offense. Again,
I know what you're. They're not going to be able.
I got to
kick
put
a lot of
in.
field goals.
I got to put in the 30 minutes to find. Yeah, this is the first ever kicker question I've actually been moderately intrigued by. But all we got to do is look at the end of season kicker ranks versus scoring offenses and see if like top 5 is actually better than 6 through 12.
Oh yeah.
That'd be a pretty quick study. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna freaking do it, Dwain.
Oh
Maybe
my
not
God,
tonight.
You're gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do some kicker research.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Maybe I'll even turn into an article, like a 300-word article. It'll be the first time I'm under the word count in my fantasy life career. All right, let's go ahead and tie up the.
Yeah. Go ahead and walk everybody through the team, and
all right, guys.
Come back and get a. I'll draft kicker. You just keep going.
Fantastic. All right. Round 1, picking out of the 108. Got Justin Jefferson. Jahmyr Gibbs run right before us. We were looking at Jamar Chase potentially, but you kind of got that big 8 there. And there's just enough concern. Chase, Jefferson, same tier. Give us Jay Jettas. Devin Achane in round 2. We've been liking the hero RB builds and just one of these situations where, he was honestly the best player available for us. We looked at Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake London, but Dwayne and I are both big time Devin Achane truthers. Want to get a running back there because having played on this site several times, we do know they go in a hurry. Round 3, Jalen Waddle ended up making it back to us. It was between him, Nico Collins, and Deebo Samuel. Nico and Deebo went right before us, so it was what it was. And round 4, as you guys can guess, we try to leave every draft with them. Rashid Rice, come on down. Round 5, almost got Patrick Mahomes back to us, but got sniped. That's okay, though. Got Kyle Pitts to get that elite 1C tight end situation where if we didn't get him, we were going to be maybe getting George Kittle or maybe left to, again, deal with that next tier of guys. End up getting Zay Flowers and Roma Dunze in the next 2 rounds to really, make our wide receiver room from a strength to arguably a superpower. Chase Brown in round 8 to get that RB2. And that was a tough one because we had Anthony Richardson on the board. We had Kyler Murray on the board. But again, one of the things you can do, guys, is just look at your pick and look who's going to be drafting between you. And guess what? If there have been 6 teams that did not have a quarterback that we were going to have to go through, we probably would have pulled the trigger on Richardson. But there weren't 6. There were 2. So we took the running back, and we miraculously got Anthony Richardson to fall back to us in round 9. After that, because we already had 5 wide receivers and just 2 running backs, and the way, the tiers kind of break, we knew we had to go hard in the paint at running back and did just that. Blake Corum, Rico Dowdle, Bucky Irving, and Tyler Algier. I mean, honestly, pretty much the guys we all wanted. We almost, took J.K. Dobbins over Rico, but ended up getting sniped anyway, so they didn't even have a choice. After that, Rashid Shaheed and Tank Bigsby had a conversation about who we wanted. Lo and behold, we got them both in rounds 14 and 15. Jalen McMillan in round 16, Aaron Rodgers in round 17, Ricky Pearsall round 18, and the Chargers defense in round 19. And we'll get some kicker here in a second. So again, Dwayne, we got sniped a couple times. We wanted Mahomes. Could have taken Dobbins over Dowdle for vibes. Would have been a little bit ill-advised. But, if you would have asked me before, like I never thought we were going to get Richardson in round 9. I would have taken – that's one of those things where, like, if you knew we could have gotten Richardson in round 9, would you still have wanted Mahomes in round 5? Maybe, but it's pretty damn good consolation.
No, I honestly think it worked out better for us.
Yeah. Like, because then we probably
– for the whole team.
We would have been weaker at something, which makes sense.
Yes, for the whole team. Because it would have been really – tough after you take Mahomes to come back and take a tight end there.
Yeah.
But we came back and got Flowers. We probably, I don't know. It would have been interesting to see what we would have done if Pitts and Flowers were on the board there. Because it's really tough to take your quarterback and your tight end in that middle 3 rounds in a double flex. I'm taking McPherson here.
Cool.
Going to trust our rankers over at FantasyLife.
And again, it wasn't an option. Mahomes got taken before. So it's one of these rare situations, Dwayne, where I think we're pretty upfront when we have a pick that we look back on and we see the way the board fell. It's like, all right, we could have done that better. It's, we do our DraftKings streams on, Friday mornings, and there's almost regularly at least one pick that, we're able to look back on and say, man, probably shouldn't have done that there. But hey, we'll see. Injuries happen. Balls bounce bad. Dwayne and I are idiots and, have the ranks wrong, but I love this draft, man.
Yeah, and honestly, like if we hadn't already taken Jamar Chase in the first draft that we did over here, because this is draft number 4, we probably would have taken him over Justin Jefferson at that pick. But we had a share of Chase already. Getting a share of Jefferson, like right there, they're so close to one another. I think that was the tipping point on that one. I thought that overall, like this was a pretty good draft room. I didn't see as many kind of wild picks. I think, a few teams lost some focus in rounds 11 through 13 with how much they put into their backup quarterbacks and into some of the kicker things. And that's what allowed us to get Tyler Algier to fall all the way back to us whenever we took Bucky Irving, and we were looking at Bucky Irving, Algier, and Charbonnet.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting 2. And then that also pushes Rashid Shaheed to us. And then with Shaheed, looking at the queue, Bigsby was what we felt we needed for our roster. But looking at the queue, how far down Bigsby was, Rashid Shaheed wasn't coming back. So the way you try to get both of them is to take Shaheed there and get Bigsby. So that was a great call by you because you actually brought it up. And then that made me want to go look at the queue. And it's always good. I know we like cramming our picks pretty fast and keeping people on their toes with their picks, but taking an extra beat, just to kind of make that quick last adjustment. And then we did it again with Jalen McMillan and Aaron Rodgers. We looked at we looked at our tier break on that one, and we were like, okay, McMillan, do we really like any receiver after that? Not that we needed another one. And we said no. So then we come back, get Aaron Rodgers. And then, Parasol just being a first round pick sitting there. So yeah, I really like the team. I don't have any picks that I regret. Honestly, we got pretty lucky. The way we usually, as much as you may plan these things and try to maximize and get all these little edges, you're just going to still have things go wrong.
Right.
But when we made the Chase Brown pick, that was our most critical pick of the draft because we still got the running back, and Anthony Richardson freaking fell back to us.
Ooh.
That was huge. That's enormous. So getting that and then still coming back, like you mentioned, and getting all those running backs that we like. So yeah, running back 2, if Chase Brown comes out and has 30% of the workload in week 1, we'll be trying to figure out what the hell we're doing there. But at least Rico Dowdle gives us another option, right, for a guy that could be starting in week 1. So we got 2 guys basically that outside of Achane that by, in week 1s, 2, and 3, we feel pretty good about having in there. But that's the weakest spot, is our running back 2.
Talk about a great day to be great. So I'm sure Dwain will be tweeting out the draft board soon if you guys want to, again, get a full look at it. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Dwain, we have 51 minutes until we are back on the clock. We'll see what pick we have there. But yeah, great day to be great. Jamming in all these drafts before the season gets started. Absolutely love it because only so much more time to completely load up on teams. And then, next Wednesday and Thursday we'll be like, oh my God. A lot of teams to go ahead and be setting those lineups, but you know what? Worry
anyway, when you work on this stuff all year long, this is like Christmas, man.
Yeah,
getting to draft all these teams.
It's awesome. The most fun part, man.
Yeah.
So,
all right, man. I'll see you in a minute.
See you in a minute, man. Thank you guys for tuning in again. Fantasy Life Show. Check us out, FantasyLife.com, Fantasy Life Plus newsletter. You guys know the whole spiel.
Thank you, RealTime Sports.
Thank you, RealTime Sports. Great point. And again, as much as I think you guys would know if we were going through and didn't actually like drafting. I love these rooms, not just because we're having, I think some pretty good drafts going on recently, but it's not like they're super soft rooms or anything, Dwain. Again, that was a good, especially the first 10 rounds. I thought that room knew what they were doing. Last time we were in there were 2 other teams I thought had squads, every bit as good as ours probably was out there. So no, indictment on the drafters, participating over here. But yeah, I like the format. I like the site, RealTime Sports. Thank you guys for everything you do. So for Dwain, I'm Ian. Thanks again for tuning into the Fantasy Life Show. Until next time, take care, everybody.